Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Finance-Auditing Committee meeting of November 14th, 2024. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and if we could have a roll call, please.
Thank you. Good morning again, everyone. Starting with Director Dorsey. Safton. Giudice.
Here.
Rosebol.
Here.
Hernandez. Here. Maston.
Here.
Rodoni.
Here.
Vice Chair Parr.
Present.
Chair Rabbit.
Here.
And President Cochran.
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum. Your committee of whole. We also have Directors Garbarino, Hill, and Terrio.
Great. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We'll move on to item number 3, which is the ratification of previous actions by the Auditor Controller. I could let you know that the PFM report starts on page 7. Joe is here to answer any questions if anyone has any. PFM is not here today, which I think is fine, but we're still doing well in that genre. Joe, any additional comments?
I'll just say the report is in front of you, and it is of course, put together prior to the election. And if you've followed the newspaper, there's been some excitement in the market since the election, as people see, or certain people think that, their tax changes and things could favor corporations, and others that, you've seen corporate profits may rise. But as far as that, the concern for us is, how does it affect the bond market? And that's a little still dicey. So BFM is following their usual paths, which is relatively conservative, as you folks know, and they'll talk about it more when they come back. And then we don't know exactly what the Fed's going to do, although they have not backed away from their plan to continue to lower rates as it goes into next year, but maybe it might end up a little softer. We don't know. And I have to take any questions.
Any questions for Joe? I'm not seeing any. Is there any public comment on the section?
We have no public comment for item number 3.
Okay, with that, can I get a motion to approve the ratification of previous actions by the Auditor Controller, including the PFM report?
So moved.
Second. Good motion and a second. Can we do voice votes?
We sure can.
You can do a voice vote. So all those in favor of that, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, please say no. Hearing no opposition, that does pass unanimously with all present. Thank you. We have nothing under 4 or 5 today. We'll move on to item number 6, which is to authorize lease of buses to Napa Valley Transportation Authority and others. And Paul McClellan. Paul?
Good morning again, Chair Rabbit and committee members. Again, I'm Paul McClellan from the Bus Division. I'm here today to present item number 6 on the agenda to authorize the lease of buses to Napa Valley Transportation Authority and others. I would like to provide some background on our bus fleet. The Bus Division currently has more buses than are needed post-pandemic service levels. The excess buses have resulted in the district maintaining a spare ratio exceeding the FTA's mandated cap of 20%, and is currently at 129%. On July 13th of 2024, the FTA approved the district's request for a special dispensation to temporarily exceed the spare ratio requirement. As a condition of this approval, the district committed to taking measures to reduce our spare ratio over the next 5 years. Given the uncertainties in future service increases and the CARB-mandated transition to zero-emission buses, the district does not want to take any action to permanently reduce the size of its bus fleet at this time. Alternatively, the district is delaying replacing some of the buses reaching the end of their useful life and placing these buses into the contingency fleet. By placing these buses into the contingency fleet rather than decommissioning the buses will allow the district to maintain the fleet size that's currently at 147 and defer funding for from FTA to a later date. Additionally, the district will consider reducing its spare ratio by leasing buses to transit agencies that need buses to meet their service demands. Multiple agencies have approached the district to express interest in leasing the buses. The first agency to reach an agreement with the district to move forward is Napa Valley Transit Authority. NVTA is seeking to lease buses as a temporary measure while they await procurement and production of new buses, given the prolonged and unpredictable lead times associated with these acquisitions in the current manufacturing environment. District staff have expected that additional lease opportunities may be available with other public transit agency and is currently in discussion with one other agency. The buses can be leased for purchase with FTA assistance, a share of 85 federal funds and 15% district funds. Therefore, the lease terms must follow those set by the FTA, and the lessee is bound by the requirements in the FTA master agreement. The district has notified FTA of its intent to lease buses to NVTA. All leased buses will be used for public transportation service, furthering the interests and welfare of the public. FTA guidelines, including those specified in SPA Circular 5010.1F. The lease will be for approximately a term of 1 year with possibility of additional monthly extensions. At the end of this lease term, the district will retake possession of the buses. The district has established a fair market rate for approximately $6,735 per month based on research available for comparables and analysis of cost ownership of the asset. The district will charge up to this rate, subject to negotiation with the lessee. Proceeds for leasing the FTA assisted assets will be treated as incidental. Used proceeds retained by the district for eligible operating expenses, including but not limited to preventive maintenance, operating salaries, fuel. Comprehensive records will be maintained for auditing purposes. So as far as the fiscal impact, approval of this item will generate NVTA lease revenues up to $480,920 annually, depending on rate negotiation. So FTA maintains an 85% interest in these revenues, though the entirety of the lease proceeds will be used to offset district operating expenses. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions in regards to leasing buses to NVTA.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. Director Tirio.
A couple questions. Who maintains these things when Napa Valley is running them? And secondly, what arrangements will we have with regard to their condition when and if they come back to us?
They'll maintain them when they operate them, when they return them the same way they receive them. And that is something I think other companies are looking at, because our buses are different than others. We have really nice seats. So they may have to buy all new seat covers when they return them. And, they're aware of all that.
Okay.
We don't have hard plastic seats with a drain hole. Others do.
Duly noted. Director Grossman.
Oh, it seems like a good idea. Can we trust those folks up in Napa?
What I'm worried about is what happens with the 85% of the money that we give to you and you don't own.
We get to spend it on our operations, so it's a good deal for the district. It solves the problem of being over the threshold that FTA wants you to have. They gave us an extension. We're very appreciative of that. It allows us to get our numbers down and get a little extra money inside our pocketbook that we can spend on our bus operations, and so in that sense, it's good. The item before you authorizes the lease with Napa for the handful of buses, but also gives us the authority to sign a similar lease with anybody else. Our Gillick hybrid electric buses are really popular. In full disclosure, everyone wants to buy them from us, and we're not selling them because if our customers come back, we don't want to be caught flat-footed, so we're willing to lease.
Director Maston.
Yeah, I have several questions. So how many actual buses are we over the cap?
We are currently
Approximately.
about 90 buses. Well, that's not correct. We have to take our spares out of there. So, we currently have about 70 buses over.
And then does leasing the buses actually reduce our number over the cap, or are they still considered ours?
It does. It reduces our spare ratio.
I assume that, but just to be clear. And then does the savings number you mentioned include insurance and other costs besides just the straight lease?
Yes.
That's okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
When should we expect them to be running down the road with the Golden Gate Bridge sign on it?
Folks certainly have the option to do that, but we anticipate that they'll put their own sticker decals on the buses.
So just elaborate a little bit further on that. We intend to basically de-identify the buses before they would leave the district property. So we'd be putting a white wrap over the striping that the buses have on them, as well as covering any of the district logo and badges that are on the bus.
I have to tell you, yours are much prettier than ours. I think we prefer the Golden Gate Bridge. I don't speak for Kate, but
I was telling Dennis at Sonoma County Transit, we just purchased 7 electric buses the other day, $1.4 million each, which is, and I know they're backlogged as well. And with the, what is it, the 2040 deadline coming up, is this going to be an ongoing opportunity, I guess?
Yes. There's 2 issues. One is that people are ordering new buses, and because of supply chain challenges, there's a really long lead time getting buses. The other issue, some people that were on the bleeding edge of electric bus technology are bleeding as we speak, because some of their buses are struggling to make it to the 12-year life that is required of FTA before you get funding to replace it. Some are struggling because the manufacturer's gone bankrupt, and at this juncture, getting parts is difficult. And so there's lots of challenges in the marketplace. And, I think Les and Paul are very, very popular people in the California, certainly in the area right now, because a lot of folks are eyeing our buses. They wish our buses looked like theirs. They wish they had 2 doors, and they wish they had hard plastic seats, but they really like the platform that we have.
Director Mass.
Couple more questions. Piggyback on what Director Parr mentioned. Is it possible to get like a small Golden Gate logo leased from or something, just so we get a little PR value for it? That would be nice. The other question is, so are these, will the Gillig hybrids be part of this lease program?
These are primarily what other transit agencies have interest in, is our Gillig electric hybrid, diesel electric hybrids. And for this agenda item here, this is particularly what we're talking about, is the Gillig buses.
But there are other hybrids that would be available to other agencies.
The other buses we have in our fleet are MCIs, the double axle and back over the road coaches. We would be willing to sell some of the older ones of those. But there is no interest in those because most of the folks that have needs operate a more city bus type service. They're not doing long trips on the freeway. And so the MCIs are not of interest to them. And we have just basically those 2 types of buses in our active fleet, the MCIs with the 2 axles and back over the road coaches, and then the 40-foot hybrid electrics that Gillig manufactured.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Is there anyone from the public who'd like to speak on this particular item?
We have no speakers on this item.
So we'll bring it back to the committee and see if there's a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion and a
second.
We have a motion and a second. With that, we'll do a voice vote again. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Please say no. Hearing no opposition, that does pass unanimously with all present. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you again, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to item 7, which is receive the Independent Auditor's Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, the CAFR, for the year ending June 30th, 2024, as submitted by I. Bailey, LLP. Cody Smith. Cody.
Yes, good morning. Just want to say thank you for having me. First, I don't get a lot of opportunities to come here, so I appreciate the opportunity. Ahmad is here from I. Bailey. He'll do the presentation of the ACFR, the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. I just wanted to take a moment just to thank a lot of people that help with this report. It's a culmination of a year's worth of work, and a lot of departments are involved. Human resources, planning, electronic revenue and budget, the ferry and bus teams help us with a lot of statistics, things of that nature. And I obviously would never want to miss opportunities to just bring up my teams, the payroll and accounting teams. They're dedicated groups, very diligent groups. They take a lot of pride in their work, and just want to give them recognize their efforts. Again, the act right here is just a small piece of what they do day in and day out. And I'm proud to be their director. So yeah, just want to give them the recognition, but along with everybody else. So Ahmad's going to take over from now, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Cody, and thank you to everyone who's been working on this big project. We appreciate that. Ahmad, thank you.
Morning. This is the comprehensive annual financial report for the district. We are here to audit the financial information that is presented in this report. It's basically an affirmation of the previously presented financial information presented to you by management. We come in after the fact. It is a confirmation process, really. We split the audit into basically 3 phases. We come in here during the interim, we take a look at your controls, and then we wait for management to close the books, and we begin the confirmation process. We confirm your receipts, confirm your cash, confirm your debt. It's again an affirmation of the financial information that was previously presented to you by management. And we issue an opinion on these financial statements, whether they are fairly stated in all material respect. And I'm pleased to let you know that we issued a clean opinion on the financial information that was presented to you previously by management. Again, it's all in one comprehensive book over here that has all the information that had happened during the fiscal year of 24, and it's comparative with the fiscal year 23. The process is basically connecting with third parties. These are the folks that can confirm these numbers, and we thank management for making that process very easy on us. They were very responsive, helpful in every question that we had. We also, as I mentioned during the interim, looked at the internal controls, and we have no exceptions to report. Mainly, we focus on the receipts, payroll, adherence to district policies as it relates to financial stuff that is reported on the financial statements, your disbursement, your procurement, and I'm pleased to let you know that we noted no deficiencies in the internal control. And with that, I'll be more than happy to take any questions.
Great. Thank you very much, Ahmad. I'll look to my colleagues. Any questions? Director Groswell.
I did have one. This is going to be a little simplistic, but as part of your audit, you actually get confirmation from the various custodians to verify that the assets that we show as we hold, that we actually do hold.
Yes, all your investments were confirmed with BNY, I believe. I can't remember. So U.S. Bank is for the OPEB pension funds. And so, yes, they were all confirmed.
Thank you.
Good to know. Anyone else have any questions?
Question.
And I know the numbers are the most important part of the book, but some of the pictures are pretty
we actually do a few transits, and this is actually the best looking ACFR.
This is what you show your other clients.
That's because it was a nice.
It has the ability. It has the portfolio of really nice things
Because it's the nice
put in on the ACFR.
Is this AI?
January 2015, we closed the bridge for a weekend to install the movable median barrier. So there's no traffic out there. We took some photos, you may recall. We have daytime and nighttime photos that are eerie.
I know I have a photo standing on top of the movable median barrier with no other car, so I appreciate that. Yeah. No, seriously, thank you so much for all the work. Really do appreciate it, and thank you, and congratulations, and job well done to everyone behind the numbers for making sure that they're watching out for the bottom line of the district and doing helping us do our fiduciary duties. So thank you. Thank you. With that, is there any public comment on this particular item?
We have no public comment on this item.
This is an action item to receive the report. I'll look to my colleagues for a motion.
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
To have a motion in a second. Again, we'll do a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Please say no. Hearing no opposition, that does. Thank you. Pass is received unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to item number 8, receive the annual report of the OPEB, Retirement Investment Trust Board. Back to Joe. Joe.
Thank you all very much. This is, as mentioned, the annual report. The OPEB Trust Board is required by the Golden Gate Bridge District Board to provide an update each year on this process. So in this particular update, we cover essentially three things. The OPEB Board confirms that it's following the investment policy that it has. It discusses its service providers, and it talks to the Golden Gate Bridge District Board if it wanted any changes to the charter. So the report is divided into those three sections. The first section is it monitors the investment policy, and there's a certificate in the back that attached that shows that the trust assets are in compliance with the investment policy. The next part is about the report is about the work of PFM, who is also a different office in PFM, but they are the manager of the resources of the OPEB Trust Board on behalf of the district, and also of U.S. Bank, which PFM is now a whole member of, that also is your custodian of that things. And so the Trust Board has reviewed their service and thinks they're performing quite well, and they have passed that back to you as the Golden Gate Bridge District Board. The trust is performing well, and the assets have done quite well and beat their benchmarks even after taking out the expenses. Then lastly, the report comments on the charter, and there are no recommended changes to the charter. With that, if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I'll look to my colleagues again if there's any questions on the OPEB. Just one thing that did come up in the previous meeting, just a big thank you to the district, to you, Joe, to some of our board members that were here, 20 years ago when this started. And the amount in the trust fund now obviously offsets some of the district costs, and it's performed quite well over the years, and it's been very much of a benefit to the district as a whole. So job well done, and look forward to it continuing. Knock on wood. Whatever happens on the investment side of things, but we've been well served, and it's been a good investment. Mm-hmm. So kudos to everyone involved. Is there anyone from the public who'd like to speak on this item?
There are no speakers for this item.
With that, I'll look for a motion to receive the annual report.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. With that, and again, a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Is there anyone opposed? Please say no. Hearing no opposition, that does pass unanimously. Moving on to item 9, which is public comment. Is there anyone who'd like to speak to us?
We're going to do a quick check-in on the public line just to make sure the folks that are on the line want to be given an opportunity to speak. So I'm going to turn it over to Justine. If you could hold the line one time and see if we have anyone that would like to speak to the Finance Committee.
Certainly. Is there anyone that's joined us that would like to speak this morning? Please use ** to unmute yourself and let me know. Again, if you'd like to speak, please press ** to unmute yourself and let me know. Okay, I'm not hearing anyone. Thank you.
Great. And with that, we're on to the last item, which is the adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second, and I hear no opposition. So we are adjourned until our next meeting. Did I do that? Did I do that, Kim? Is there any opposition? Hearing no opposition, we are adjourned. Thank you.